Okay, week 7, day 70 of lockdown and versions of it. And we finally did it. We have hit triple digits in Auckland. So we hit triple digits a little bit later than I was expecting, maybe a few days, but we've hit triple digits. And yesterday we weren't at triple digits, but it seems like triple digits is the new normal number. So we've crossed over into that. And so much has happened since then. So after abandoning our elimination, but not abandoning, but yeah, sorry, we are kind of abandoning the elimination strategy, government has then introduced this blue phase 3, where phase 3, well, level 3 then splits into 3 or 4 phases. That was when they said schools were going to definitely open on the 18th of October. Anyway, that didn't happen at all. And also, the phase thing seems to have gone as quickly as it arrived. And so we've got a new thing now, and that's a traffic light system. And that was leaked, or that was given out before the announcement. And apparently everyone hated it. And so they... That's the way it was phrased. It was consulted widely on. So now we've got, and there were a quote, range of views. That's the other quote to put in. If something's gone out for consultation, it usually means it's been sort of leaked. If it didn't get good feedback, there's a range of views. Anyway, so they rolled it out, and I think there's amazing leadership here because the government has just gone for it, and they've actually decided to do something, which is good. Because they're in a rock and a hard place and they've just gone for it. And so now what are we left with? Well, everyone everywhere has to get to 90% vaccination. Not only 1 dose, but 2. How are we going to do that? Well, the government is being realistic, pessimistic, something in between. They are telling us, yep, we're going to re-look at this in November the 23rd. That is miles away. That is miles away. And maybe I'm too optimistic, but part of me thinks is, what if we get there before then? Come on, give us a chance to get out of this before then. But no, they've said that's the plan currently. So how do we get to this 90%? So that's the main challenge, and by hook or by crook, everyone's hustling to try and meet that. And you'd have to say we're pushing the hook or crook method. There's now lots of giveaways, and I wonder if you're driving people more into their entrenched positions that, what are you doing? You're being so coercive. But anyway, it's good they've relaxed the requirement to go to book my vaccine. It's now just turn up. The vaccination sites, they're going to be hard to man if no one turns up. Hard to person, I should say, if no one turns up, and that could be a big problem. And in a not completely unsurprising move, they've gone full steam ahead, even though there's quite a clear ethnic discrepancy here, but that is being downplayed, and more money is being thrown at the situation, which may help, but may not help. If money was solving it, then I think we would have a different situation. So where are we now? Well, the sun is coming out in Auckland. At least that makes going outside a bit easier. The cases are still rumbling on, but we have now got a clear target to aim for, which is good. And there's a lot of discussion, it's not a target, it's a milestone, and I do agree with that, but hats off to the NZ Herald, because they picked this 90% target, the 90% project, yonks ago, and they've been putting it as an infographic anytime you read about a New Zealand COVID story, which is awesome, because I think if you're wanting to run a business, you own a business, you like to go to businesses, it's there. The other main thing is there's the unvaccinated world and then there's the vaccinated world. Now this is huge. They are saying that if you are unvaccinated, depending on where we are, you basically can't get out and do much. Now, how is this going to be policed? Who is going to be responsible? At the moment, all the supermarkets have a bouncer at the door. So they have to check, and they're making a lot of money. The supermarkets are making a lot of money, so it makes sense for them to be proactive. But if you're the mom and pop store, how are you going to check everyone has scanned in at all times? I don't know how you're going to do it. So they are releasing the new version of the vaccine card, the passport, the app, the little website, so you can show your QR code. It would be great in a Big Brother world if that could then be used by the business to show that someone has scanned in, because I can't imagine in most settings you're going to show your vaccine card to one scanning place, one person, and then you're going to have to walk around and show your QR code to another. That and take personal responsibility as well. That I don't think will fly. And so we'll see what comes out of that. But I mean, lots of countries wouldn't mess around with us. They would just have, we know where you went, we know where you've been because you scanned something. But anyway, maybe this Bluetooth thing will finally come off. You could have a Bluetooth enabled entry into places, and then they could just Bluetooth scan people. Because if you have the right Bluetooth key, you get in. Of course, what do you do with kids? They don't necessarily all have a phone, as do adults, so you need to have some backups there. Particularly some kids are just turning 12, so do you cut them out completely if they haven't got around to getting their vaccine? I don't know, but these are probably edge cases, and let's just go with it. We've got a target, and we've just got to push on with that. So there was a lot of fuss when the vaccines were arriving, as there should be. Ministers were live streaming the GPS location of the plane, of when it was arriving, and of course the antivirals are probably going to be the most important piece of this because you can't vaccinate everyone, and there are people who won't get vaccinated, and it just doesn't happen for everyone. You won't get 100%. So the antivirals could really be a massive part of the armour, because it seems like they dropped the rate of hospital admission by 50%. Now 50% is massive. It's massive. I think if you told all the Auckland region DHBs, you know how you got 50 people in hospital, well now you got 25 because they all got the stroke. So we should be watching this arrive in New Zealand. We should watch it being packaged. The other brilliant things about it at this stage, from the information we can gather, is that it's oral medication, so you might not necessarily need to even be in hospital. It could prevent people to come into hospital. It could prevent the central hospital system being activated, which would be wonderful. Also, it seems to be very safe, which I think will go down well, particularly with the anti-vaccination crowd, or maybe it won't, but people when they're sick, I think will probably accept medical care. I think that will happen. That generally happens. It's a bit of a paradox how people are quite concerned about vaccines, and wrongly or rightly, but then they're not concerned with all the other stuff we do in hospital, which it's not side effect free. It's not side effect free, but anywho. So the antivirals, Australia's ordered 300,000, so it shows how serious they are. We seem to be sitting on our hands a little bit, and I think that's just us, dropping the ball here. We need to get these into our system. If the whole idea about the vaccination target is not to stamp out COVID completely, it's to protect the hospital system, antivirals could do that. Antivirals could definitely do that. So we should apply that mindset and try and get these things and get them early. Let's, make sure we do our own trials. Let's be judicious. Let's figure out who needs them. We're a sovereign country, but we can't do any of that if we just go, there's might be an update on the antivirals in a month's time. No. Anyway, too many other things to happen. It seems like a lot of this home isolation for COVID positive people is not surprisingly going all that well. The high trust model is leading to all sorts of funny business. And I mean, it's a tough job. How do you risk profile who should go to MIQ and who shouldn't? Really, really difficult. I think if anything now, you just have to use these cases as ways to find people who are unvaccinated, because still over 90%, and if you take the single dose group, way over 95% of the people who are ending up in hospital are unvaccinated, and a huge chunk of people who are unvaccinated are turning up as the cases. So you've got your group right there to go, okay, now we know, let's go hard with the vaccination. So this week should be another interesting week, how it all unfolds. I think there will be a bit more grumbles from the business community about ramping it up. I mean, wouldn't it be amazing if Auckland smashed it? Wouldn't that be a turn up for the books? If Auckland gets to the above 90%, and there are parts of the country that have a few cases that haven't gone to the 90%, and we could be in a lower level than them. That just seems so weird, and how this whole thing has played out over 2 years. But we live, we hope. I think there are about just over 1,000 first-time vaccines, and they're the ones they really need to get in the Auckland region. So something's got to change. At this rate, I think it'll still take another 2 and a bit weeks to get to our 90%. And then you've got to make sure you've got a good conversion of those first and second doses, which, once again, we do hope, but hope might not get there. So how do you make sure you get really good with that second dose? So anyway, we watch the space, we sit by and wait for the 1 p.m. updates. That's it for now.